We've got to come up with ideas and beliefs so strong that not only would we die for them, we begin to live for them. So what the hell are you willing to live for? Ask yourself today, what boundaries are you willing to push to exert your sovereignty so that you truly begin to live according to your standard? What's going on, guys? My thought for the day, for this past week, I read something that Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said, and it stuck with me. He stated that he'd much rather be a boxer than a fencer, the fencer with the sword. His reasoning is that the fencer relies on external weapon. The boxer relies on his own fists, his own abilities, his own capacity to combat the opposition. And that stuck with me. Am I relying on my own willpower, my own convictions, my own strengths? Or am I relying on external sources to help me when opposition arises, as it will? This is the Better Man channel, where our aim is to remove dependency on others. We want to reclaim our sovereignty, to become self-reliant in every facet of our being, mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, in all relationships, to be the man that we are capable of becoming. I'm reading Tolstoy's War and Peace, the great work of fiction that many states one of the best, if not the best, masterpieces in fiction of all time. And I'm not much of a fiction guy. I like nonfiction. I like real stories about right now and how I can improve my life and be a better person. But Tolstoy's work, War and Peace, has historical significance. It's based in Russia during the Napoleon era when Napoleon is just rampaging through history and civilization. And I read a scene last night where these two gentlemen are having an interaction. And one is a young man who's came from abroad. He's been studying, and he comes back to Russia, and he's trying to decide, do I want to go into the diplomatic life? Do I want to go into the military life? And he's staying with this older gentleman who's a general in the war already. And this gentleman's about to go off and to begin to battle against the French and Napoleon. And so the young man is sitting there and he's reading a book, and the older gentleman comes up to him and he says, if war was solely based on the convictions of the individual man, it would never happen. The individual man doesn't have any desire to go fight for his nation out of unnecessary conviction. And the young man thinks and says, well, that would be splendid. We would have peace, no war. And the older general says, yeah, but it's never going to happen. There's always going to be war, and there's always going to be this overarching ideal of the nation that provokes man to go fight for them. And the young man thinks and says, well, why are you so ready to go to war? And the gentleman, without much thought, readily states, well, it's my duty, and that's what... And then he stops, he pauses and thinks about it and says, well, he looks off and contemplates on it a second longer, and then looks back to the gentleman and says, well, there's nothing here that suits me. So I'm ready to go to war. He was ready to go fight for someone else's convictions. Marcus Aurelius said, I'd rather depend upon my own strengths. I'd rather have the conviction that is dependent upon me. What can I do? What do I believe in? How can I make myself stronger? Than grab someone else's sword and fight the battle in that manner. How many of us lack convictions? How many of us lack strong beliefs? How many of us lack a direction because we have no beliefs that push us in that direction? We pick up the convictions of other people. We choose that career, we choose that belief, we choose that relationship because that's the convictions of everyone else. It's not our convictions. And so we're going to this metaphorical war based on the convictions of others. We choose the career, we choose that education, we choose that relationship, we choose this direction, we choose to not go that direction solely based on the convictions of other people. And if we take a very careful look at our life and we begin to dissect each belief, each action, each inaction, it's based largely on the convictions, perceptions, interpretations, ideologies of other people. People in the media, people on YouTube that you subscribe to, the ideas and beliefs of our parents and those that passed them on to us, our educational system. The convictions, the interpretations of life have been passed on to us, and we just pick them up and we go to war. We go to metaphorical war, and we combat oppositions. We combat life with the perceptions, convictions of other people. Instead of being that boxer that relies on his own two fists, his own intellect, his own spirit, mind, body, soul, instead of relying on that intuition that resides within, we blindly listen to the convictions of others. And like the older gentleman that had to think about it and said, well, there's just nothing that suits me here. That's a lot of men today. That's the state of man. We're just kind of aimlessly wandering around. Nothing really suits me. I don't really have any direction. So I'm just going to go in the direction that society hands me. They give me this map, this clear-cut map that says go this way. It's comfortable. There's not much struggle. We hate struggle. We don't want to fail. So let's go that route. It's the easiest route. It's paved. It's smooth. That's the convictions of someone else. It fits their agenda. War doesn't fit the individual. War fits the agenda of the elite, the power, the nation, and whatever motives they have for war. Like the old wise gentleman said, based on the convictions of the individual, they most likely never go to war for their nation. They don't care about the oil across the sea. They don't care about the policies and the bureaucracies that get those elite richer. They care about their individual life. If we don't have convictions that propel us to reclaim our sovereignty, we're going to relinquish that. We'll relinquish our power. We'll relinquish our self-reliance, and we'll start blindly following the herd because the convictions of society say, come this way. It's easy. This is how it's always been. The idea of man is to be strong, to be dominant, to be assertive in asserting your position. We have to have some convictions, some beliefs strong enough that we're willing to die for them. Because here's that concept. If you're not willing to die for something, then I promise you, you're not living. You're not living courageously. You're not challenging the boundaries. We've got to come up with ideas and beliefs so strong that not only would we die for them, we begin to live for them. So what the hell are you willing to live for? Ask yourself today, what boundaries are you willing to push to exert your sovereignty so that you truly begin to live according to your standards, your convictions? And the big question is, what are your standards? What the hell do I believe in? What do I believe in so strong that it motivates me to get up and actually push myself to embody it, pursue it, and see it come to life? The old man was just going to war because he had no other convictions. A lot of the times we just go with the flow because it's easier. We don't have any directed destinations. We don't have any precise plans. So we're just kind of scattered, aimlessly wandering around, and the next big cause comes along, so we join it. Because there's nothing else that's holding us in our position, our conviction, our place. We're created to be a man, a strong man. A strong man has a conviction that says, this is what I stand for, this is what I'm against. And I'm not going to break my character to go against those. It's time that we begin standing for something. And the first and foremost thing that we need to stand for is our masculine nature, our ability to be man and to be sovereign in that. To have that conviction that I am man, I stand strong, I'm assertive. And begin to pick your positions in life instead of being placed by external agendas that really don't have your best interest at heart. I love you guys. You'll hear from me next episode.